Hey guys, another YouTube video. Um, Sometimes I feel like through this Daegu vendetta, through this Daegu trial, through this Daegu brand building, this exploration, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes I feel through this, I've got a lot of other life updates and things that I have been trying or have always tried not to push through and post on Daegu about or not to relate for. I would, but I would kind of hide like what it was about. And I found myself recently, and I heard it even from my father, that said to try and relate stuff to real life and what's going on in your life at the moment. Um, which is one of the things that sparked this whole YouTube, um, YouTube video, YouTube channel stuff, to just try and at least relate or pour out something that's there. And again, this isn't really for anybody else. This is just for me, because nobody's watching these. Nobody knows about them, because it's just me rambling. But to relate to something or to pour my heart out into something, it's just kind of tough because I don't necessarily want the people around me that something like that would be about, to listen and understand and think about themselves in a negative light, because it's just my perception, and it's something that would be pertinent to that time or to that day. But sometimes you get a lot of pressure from the people around you to do certain things. Um, Sometimes it's the people that are like closest to you, your friends, your family, and they tell you should do this, you should do that, or we should do this, we should do that. I think that's very nice and helpful, and could be useful. But I also think that at some point it's my life, and I hope that people realize that. Um, So if someone says, "Hey, it'd be really, really cool if you did like a YouTube channel," like, yeah, that would be kind of cool, and kind of talk about it for a few minutes, and that'd be it. But if somebody keeps harping on like you need to do something, you need to do that, that's just not. That's just not. It's not fun to listen to. I get taking a case of your audience and understanding what the people want, but it comes to a certain point where it's just not. That's not a suggestion anymore. It's not a hey, that would be cool. And I don't necessarily love it, but sometimes people think that it's time to move on. It's time to do something different. It's time to give up. It's time to kind of change things for the better or move forward and progress and do something else. Like for me, I've been in this same apartment for coming up on 3 years, I think, in December. And the market for buying a house sucks, and I do have some money put away, but I never think it's enough. And I don't know, like, moving on is not necessarily daunting, but the idea of somebody else pressuring you or other people pressuring you to do so, is just unnecessary, and I don't like it. Some of the examples I'll give would be like some of my friends, they got married or had a kid or moved in with somebody like at a young age, high school, college age, just so early, when I think sometimes you don't know yourself as well as you think. And then those relationships or that house or those deals or those animals or whatever that they got, all of a sudden at some point it just doesn't work out, because it's not that they try to move too fast. It's just that I don't think they had the best point of view or the best vantage point to see what was going to happen further on down the road, and they didn't think about it. And at some point, to some degree, you can definitely ride that wave and figure it out as you go. But there are some times where it just does not work for you, and it makes things really tough. Yeah. For example, there's always like, I don't know why, but it's mostly females, but it happens to some guys too, where I see like in their early 20s, right? When they don't have a lot of friends, or they get through a bad breakup, or they get kicked out of their house, or something negative where they kind of feel like they're by themselves. So they feel the need to like get an animal. So they get a dog or a cat or something. And then in a couple of years, when they start a relationship or they start a new job or they have to move or whatever, then this animal becomes like an anchor to them, and they can't like live their best life or do what they need to do at that time, because they have this animal. Or a job. I jumped into this job. This is great. And then a year or so, 2 years, 3 years down the road, all of a sudden they can't do what they want because this job has kind of anchored them down to one location, so they can't move, or one schedule, so they can't see their friends and family, something like that. So these decisions that we make in life doesn't always have to be with the best forethought, but I think there should be some into it, and hoping it should be like your decision, not a bunch of other people's, not a culmination of your family and your friends telling you what you should do. I think it's real big of you if you do something on your own and you think about your life as well. It doesn't have to be you specifically in a selfish way. It definitely could tie into or help those around you, whether it's your partner or your family or your kids or whatever. It definitely should help everybody else around you as well, but I think it solely relies on you. This solely relies on me. And sometimes I forget that. And some of us that are maybe a little bit more selfless and try and help out others and put others before us, we can definitely lose that sense of, ourselves and our viewpoint and our direction. So whether it's trying to start a business or a brand like DEGU, trying to make a little side cash, trying to make a little coin, whether it's just a work that you don't really love or absolutely hate, whether it's a relationship that you're trying to make work, whether it's a family that you're trying to keep together. There can be a lot of stuff that weighs on you, and you are going to be the only person that knows how heavy of a burden you can carry. And I believe that you should be able to do what you want. You should be able to set your mind to something and at least try it. Even if you fail, that's fine, but at least you tried it. You should be able to push the envelope on your own terms, and people around you should respect the fact that you're trying to do something, and respect and understand why you're trying to do it, and that it's your project, it's your passion, it's your job, it's your life, it's your burden, not theirs. And sometimes that balance is not so easily handled. So I implore you to do the things that you need to do, even though it's pretty hard, but for you to do the things that you need to do in order to keep your life yours, and to mend it and mesh in with others around you, your partner, your family, your friends, your job. Do it in the proper way, as best you can. And understand that you may fuck things up, and that's all right. But it's all in the way of how you do it. So don't ever give up, and make sure to follow your path in life, and make sure to keep your chin up high. I'll see you later.